Yeah, baby. Yeah. There we go. Let's find the angle. There it is. The Mac is back with another video. Hello, the initiated. My name is Marcus Junikala, and today I thought we'd look at some choirs, and to be more specific, to look at my favorite choir sample libraries. So, on the agenda today is to look at two different libraries, and they are from the same manufacturer, the same sample library developer, and the developer in question is Strezov Sampling. Now, they do a bunch of stuff. Choirs is a big part of what they do. They also have strings, percussion. I have some percussion libraries from them as well, but to me, the choirs are really what I know best and what I love the most. Today, we're going to have a look at Wotan, which is in front of you right now, and also Freyja. And Wotan is a male choir, and Freyja has the women singing there. And to me, these are still, from what I've heard, for all of the options I've seen and heard, these are still at the top of the food chain, the best of what I've bumped into. Actually, when I wrote my first orchestral album, Andromeda, I realized somewhere halfway there, in between writing that music, that I needed some, or wanted some, choir stuff in there, and specifically some men singing. And I did a bunch of digging and found Wotan, which really, by the way, I have no idea how to pronounce that, because it could be like Wotan or Wotan from America. But yeah, I did a bunch of digging for the choir sample libraries, and I was not terribly impressed by most of what was out there. I don't remember when I released Andromeda. 2016, maybe? I don't know, you tell me. But yeah, after doing a bunch of digging, these, Wotan really came on top. And I actually don't think Freyja was even out then. But in the end, Andromeda, I think, ended up benefiting from the fact that it was only that, male choir singing. But yeah, anyway, found this incredible library that sounded great then and still sounds great. And like I said, I haven't heard a better set of choir sample libraries to date. So really interested in, or excited to jump in here and show you exactly what I love about them. And I thought we could do both Wotan and Freyja today, because they're not like preset heavy libraries. Obviously, they're like giving you a male and female section of a choir at your disposal. So not a bunch of presets, but a great Syllabuilder, what I believe is what they call it. Maybe. I don't know if that's someone else's term for this, but yeah, I think we can go through both. So let's jump into it. This, what you see in front of you right here, is the Wotan Basses snapshot preset. Well, it's the basses of the male choir here. And I thought we could do basses, then tenors, and then do the men, which kind of combines them in two. Quickly show you the cluster and whispers, because they're pretty simple, and then look at the legatos and do pretty much the same thing for Freyja. There's also this one choir sample library in this series, which is called Arva, which is I think it's a children's choir sample library. I don't have it. I haven't bought it because I haven't specifically had a use for it. I would love to have it, but these are pretty not exactly cheap libraries. Again, price is something that there are many perspectives on this. I don't actually know what Wotan or Freyja cost right now, but it's several $100 I think each, maybe 3-4, I don't know. But yeah, Arva hasn't really been priority for me, so that's why I have 2 of these, but I would love to check it out someday if at all possible. What was I gonna say? I don't know. Yes, but today, as always, you're gonna hear the sample library itself and nothing additional. I do have a limiter on my master bus, as always, to make sure the level is decent for this video. It is as transparent as I can make it, so this is pretty much only the library you're going to hear in action. Also, momentarily here and there, you might hear a bit of clipping, because especially when it comes to vocal sample libraries, there's a lot of fluctuation in some of these kind of key resonances, which can really then blow out the limiter momentarily. And what makes it even more sort of convoluted is that depending on what the library singers are singing, some of the syllables or vowels or whatever, they might be, or oftentimes they are louder than the rest, so you will get these kind of peaks. So I will be dancing with the limiter, adjusting it. If you see me play with the mouse, that's what I'm doing to make sure we don't get clipping. So my voice for this video overall might be louder than the choir itself, so but I will do my best to make the experience as smooth as possible and avoid that clipping. But as I've said before, you can use something like Soothe 2 by OEK Sound or OEK Sound to tame some of those resonances that bump in and out. It's just something you have to do with vocals. Even with sample libraries, there's just a lot of fluctuation. And in fact, it's good that this is the case because it makes them more real sounding. And oftentimes when you're mixing choirs, vocals, whatever, there's going to be those kind of uneven qualities which bring realism, but also in a context of a mix, you often have to tame them somehow. So that's I think that should be all in terms of the background for this video. So yes, so we have basses here in front of us. Now what we have here is this syllable builder, and over here you have this kind of these kind of brackets, and then you have these syllables here. So let's do let's build some kind of a syllable section here. So we have b. We could do cha, ki, no, ri, se, b. And this kind of, as you see here, it builds this series of syllables, which you will then cycle through as you play. You can select those syllables and, make them staccato or a sustain note. Now, they don't, well, actually, apparently, yeah. Well, I'm not going to go into that right now. But yeah, so you got these different syllables, and let's just play and see what happens. So again, a bit of clipping happened there, but you get the basic idea. Obviously, I'm playing sustained notes here, so if you want to have something in between that is a short note, then you would take that and make it staccato. And it would be, there's a symbol like a small upside down triangle that notifies that or signifies that. So again, knowing your composition, knowing the line of obviously the melody, but also sustained notes going into staccatos, you got to know your music and then adjust accordingly. So it can be quite cumbersome, but it is, as I see it, not a fault of the engine, but just a part of the process of making music. So if you're not into that, then maybe do something else. Yeah, again here, the realism is still pretty stunning to me. I can't remember, maybe this is 6-7 years old by now, and I still haven't come across anything better. But it is, you can hear that there's the programming, the scripting of it doesn't seem super high techy to me. And again, this is coming from zero experience of programming any Kontakt sample library instruments. But like a lot of libraries, you can hear that, wow, the legato is super smooth and realistic. Here, you can definitely hear in moments that it's not, but they've sampled it so well. And however they have put this engine together, it sort of lives in a very organic way. And in the context of the music, and in the music, in the mix, you really wouldn't be hearing any of those, bumps and slight unrealistic moments here and there. So it doesn't sound like super high-techy convoluted what they've done here, but it sounds, how they've done it sounds super realistic and organic to me. I don't know if that's going to make any sense to a bunch of people. I know some of you understand what I mean by that. Like it doesn't play like a super responsive library, but the end result sounds very organic and realistic. Let me just add some more stuff in here, just so I can, well, now it will cycle the same thing over and over again, but so this is the basis alone. I wanted to show you this because obviously if you're doing part writing for basses only, this might be useful. And I have to say that the sound you get out of this is slightly different than the combined Wotan Men combo, because obviously as they program this, they need to decide where the overlap is between basses and tenors. So sometimes it might not give you a sound that you're after, and the sound that you're after might be basses alone. In fact, I really like this top end of the bass sound because it has this kind of different kind of emotion and struggle to it. Perhaps it's because basses really suffer when they sing high notes. Just kidding. But yeah, I mean, also what you can notice from this is that they have a lot of range here. And in fact, that this is something I believe they, in their marketing, really emphasize, that this has the lowest range of any male sample library out there. And maybe that's true. It certainly goes very low, and I'd say lower than most people are ever going to find utility in. And in fact, when you go super low, it begins to sound more like a soundscaping, like a sound design sound, because it is so low that you can't even really recognize a pitch in there. But first of all, let me I've turned these notes into staccatos, so short notes, so let's listen to those. So again, super realistic. It's really this, one of the things that really dictates whether your choir parts with Wotan or anything else, in fact, whether it's going to sound realistic or not, comes down to your ability to phonetically design a good series of these syllables. I really like the selection they've gone for here. Do I wish there was more? Absolutely, that would just be better. But this is a good set. I come from a background of singing in a choir for 9 years. I was in this boy choir. Started as a tiny kid singing soprano, went into altos, tenors, and then landed on bass. So I have a pretty good understanding of not only the harmonization of how to work with a choir, but also a lot of the music. Obviously we sang a lot in Latin and German and stuff like that. But I really draw from that experience when I'm composing a song, and then I realize, okay, I want to do this choir part for it. Then I sort of think about the melody and then go through these syllables and to kind of then I just decide what seems to be the best combination of them that caters to a good and musical end result. So if you really struggle to formulate or decide how to use these, just obviously try and sing it out loud. Think about what kind of vowels you want to be primarily using for each note. And then also you can obviously think about the consonants that really can emphasize what you're expressing. This might be super obvious for many of you out there, but for some it might be a completely new thing. And obviously if you just can't seem to be able to decide, then go listen to some choir music and get an idea of the flow. But I think if you have a pretty good sort of general musical understanding and a sense of phonetics, then you can pretty well, combine these into something cool. But this is really what makes it super realistic in parts, and you as a composer need to be responsible for combining them in a great way, because a lot of the realism can be lost if you don't combine things in a good kind of a way. So again, if I play really loud, you're going to hear those shouts. I think we're going to look at those separately, but that is a feature of the library. I'm going to play some of these lower notes. So they do go extremely low. If that's something you can utilize, then do it. By the way, as you see me clicking here, I don't know of any fast ways of turning everything in sustains or staccatos. If there is something like that, please let me know. I just can't find any controls for that. Or if you want to delete stuff, there's this delete button here, which allows you to delete one at a time, but then it resets back to this main control. This seems pretty not a great thing, but it could be that I'm simply not educated in the ways of how this works. But if that is just how it works, then I wish they could add a bit of more control so you can actually tweak these things a lot faster, as opposed to one by one. But yeah, let me play a bit of this low end again for you in the sustain mode. So as you can hear, it's, you know, around this region, you do get those pitches that they're going for, but there's other stuff in there. I do like that fluctuation. I would never actually use a pitched note for, let's say, basses in down below here. So I see this as kind of like a sound design bonusy kind of a thing, because it's really hard to get a definite sense of pitch down here. It's super impressive that they can sing that. In fact, it was at some point where I wanted to test how low I could go. You know, I tried contending with these guys down here, but I don't think. Again, I probably died out somewhere here. But again, you know, they do get those pitches, but it's not super sustainable, let's put it that way. So it's that A sharp there, which is kind of really maybe the last viable pitch in there, but gives you a sense of what's in here. I do have to say I'm not very familiarized by the rhythm controls here, but you know, there are better demos for that, I'm sure. Different legato modes here as well. But yeah, that's about the basic look. You can also click this cog here, which gives you control over the different mic positions. This is actually very comprehensive, close, deca, hall. I do find that sometimes, overall the reverb is great. And sometimes I find that there's maybe a tad bit too much of it. And I do find that a lot of these mics still have the quality of the space in there. So if I'm going to turn off, we only have the close mics here. That limiter was set way too high. So that kind of sounds very mono-ish to me. So the reverb is very pleasant and natural. That was the deca, this is the hall. So very good, very tastefully done. If you need to adjust it accordingly to your song, it's pretty easy to tweak them, and also then you can EQ actually responds really well to this. I've wrestled a lot with trying to make these fit into mixes, and it's not really a big process. You do have a reverb button here, which I just turned off. So it actually goes really dry. That's far drier than what I remembered. So this is close without any reverb. It sounds kind of like mono to the right, which is interesting. Deca. That's very nice. Let me bump this up just a bit, and let's compare it to the reverb, added reverb. All right, reverb off. Reverb on. So both are really good. This reverb gives off this kind of a more cinematic, softer tone. I know that they were really inspired by the choir sound from Lord of the Rings, especially the track that plays when they're in Moria. Well, not the track, but the tracks. So, and this does really capture that kind of similar, soft, nice cinematic tone. But I like both, and I think, you know, this really gives it a lot more versatility. If you want to go drier, add your own reverb. Yeah, this behaves really nicely. All right, I think we should plow onwards. Let's do the tenors next, so we can hear them on their own. Here we go. So again, let's add this series of syllables, and this is tenors. Again, we might have to adjust the limiter here, but oh yeah, I completely forgot to actually show you the dynamics from the basses. We were just going full throttle all the time, which is not a great thing, because to me, okay, it's pretty stupid I forgot to do that, because one of the best aspects of this choir, or these libraries, both Wotan and Freyja, is that the soft textures are so good. They've sampled them so well. Like, that's one of the things I was missing from all the other libraries that I was, you know, comparing back then, and still do when some of them, you know, bump or pop up. They still, you know, they might sound great when they're super loud and epic, but then the quiet tones are missing completely. And these give you both. Like, this is why I love them so much, because the soft textures are so incredible. Like, and also, as you heard, you can do the epic thing. Like, it does both, and it sounds amazingly musical. So let's do the quieter tones again. I'll try and find a somewhat decent place for the limiter. And also, I can't play very large parts because I need to free up my hand. And the sustain pedal doesn't actually sustain notes in here, as far as I can tell. Okay, let me bump the limiter up. I'm just going to stay in this quiet zone, let you hear the texture here. that is so stunningly beautiful, and it's so realistic. Like, they've done the releases perfectly. It sounds like I'm directing a choir. It's like a bunch of people there, so human, so dripping of emotion, and so, you know, sensitive. Oh, it's stunning. Let's drop the limiter a tiny bit, and I'll try and showcase the scope of the dynamics. So beautifully adds that kind of grit to the top end. It's not just a volume thing, it's a textural change that needs to happen, and that's really, really, really pleasant. But like those soft lows, I mean, I was really blown away that how they did it back then, and I'm still blown away by it to date. So yeah, amazing job. So let's check out the tenors next, and I'm gonna this time start from the low end of the dynamic range. What I love is those tiny details, those tiny clicks and fluctuations in the voices, that they've sampled them and put them in, and that they vary, bring so much realism in there. Again, such a beautiful soft sound. Let me pull down the limiter again and showcase the range here. And again, this I really like that they've gone with such a kind of brave range for the tenors, because a lot of this goes pretty high, and especially with these kind of quieter volumes, it can be really difficult for them to produce those notes. But let's demonstrate the dynamic range. Again, we're getting heavy clipping. Again, this demonstrates just how big of a dynamic range vocals often, or choirs especially, have. But it's just stunning how they've done such a wide scope for it. Like I know, like, unless you've really played with a lot of libraries in general, orchestral sample libraries, most don't do this because it's so difficult. It's difficult to get a wide dynamic range and yet still make it functional, playable, musical, like it sounds like one actual part of an orchestra or whatever section, and that the scope is so, like, you can do such sweet quiet things with this. It's really, really, really incredible. I think this button default states this. There we go. That's useful. And then I wonder. Oh, let me. Yeah, this is a bit. You need to make sure you're always selecting the next box. So now I'm staccato. What? Yeah, this system isn't, as far as I can tell with my limited knowledge of it, isn't exactly the most intuitive. So these are staccatos for tenors. So as you can see, the really fast notes are, you get a bit sort of cluttered. I have to admit, I don't know how the legato thing actually changes the rhythm. I don't know what the rhythm even relates to. Set the duration of the selected syllable. Only used with crossfade. So, but I don't know if the crossfades really, which to my understanding they're, yeah, I don't know what these symbols do either. Let's test this. That's not really good part writing, which again is why it sounds like largely crap, because you really want to pay attention to the syllables they're singing. But yeah, I think I'm not sure what they mean by this crossfade thing here. Let's test what this sounds like. Okay, so that chains them into this, you know, you saw if I just held down these notes, place them in that rhythm, and if I switch to the quarter note, that doesn't change anything. What does this X do? Sounds like it's doing some kind of fade out into, you know, towards the end of the phrase. But yeah, that's my impression of it. But yeah, I mean, if you want to do super fast stuff, in my experience, you have to be kind of tasteful with it. And I don't remember a lot of these control things because I haven't used choirs in my active projects for a while, so you tend to really forget. But again, reverb is going to help a lot with that, or the lack of it in shorter notes, because a lot of that clutter comes from the reverb. Choose your syllables well, choose your part writing, and just don't, you know, you got to always play with sample libraries in ways that don't push them in negative ways. One of the things I want to mention about the sound of it, obviously, as you begin to push into this higher dynamic range, you do tend to get a bit of, obviously, those resonance build-ups as the singers just sing louder, but a bit of a maybe harshness in the kind of top mids. And then, you know, nothing a simple EQ can do. And this isn't like an innate flaw of the library, I don't find. It's simply like when they make these libraries, they make these individual notes, and the systems of the library sound great individually. But once you start writing music with it, you have unique build-ups of harmonics, and just based on the notes you're playing in relation to the samples, you're going to have these build-ups anyway. But with Wotan and Freyja, I've noticed this kind of you know, upper mid or sort of low highs, maybe this kind of harshness building up there. And a part of it is from the reverb, like it's pretty impossible to separate it from that. But just something to you know, keep in mind. It's really not a problem. You would have this issue, I'd find, with, you know, just recording vocalists anyway. But yeah, if you do kind of sense like the heaviness, that's probably what's happening there. Again, let me actually do a clean slate, and let's do sustains. And again, this is with reverb. Without. It's actually significantly drier than I expected, and I think drier than Wotan, sorry, the basses. Again, kind of the same thing, that kind of cinematic, soft blanket there. So yeah, great control. You can take this more into kind of a drier hybrid sound world if you wanted to. Cool. Tenors. Then let's open up Wotan Men. So this is both combined. You have this color coding here showing kind of the different areas, and I guess these might be the kind of overlap areas as well. So let's put again this kind of syllable thingy here and play this. Let me start with the lower dynamics. Let me put this limiter somewhere here. So that was a bit quiet. Again, such a soft, fluffy sound. You just bring up the volume, obviously, to make it audible, but like such a comprehensive, thick, soft sound, that quietest range. Let's do something a bit more higher up. Again, a good example of the limiter clipping on certain notes and phrases. I love how vulnerable and kind of emotionally intensive that is. Yeah, not easy to sing that quiet so high up. Let's drop this limiter once again and demonstrate some of the range. And again, a bit of limiter clipping there at the end, but you get the idea of what I said. Like when you go to the highest dynamics, it begins to push really hard, and you get that a bit of harshness there. Again, nothing a tiny bit of EQ can't fix, but something to pay attention to. Kind of a tenor focused. Let's do something down lower. And again, you obviously need to be mindful of your harmonization, the use of harmony down there, because the pitches don't become really, if you have a very rich and dense harmony going on down there, it's going to sound very mushy, because it's not audible at that kind of a pitch. So let me try and talk at the same time while doing this really annoying syllable control change. Oh crap, what did I do? So staccato. Let's do a bit more volume. This is kind of like a half of the dynamic range. And let's do a full-on dynamic. So, yeah, that's what it sounds like. Let's do a super quiet one. So again, tremendous range to be used here. Most of the time I use the men combo because you get the full range, but again, depends on how specific you want to get with the textures and the part writing and so forth. So I think that that about covers the basics here. We can look at whispers and shouts. I actually use these quite a bit. I like whispers and shouts as a texture. So Let's check him out. Actually, let's put some kind of a syllable chain here. So you don't have pitch, obviously, because it's a shout, but these do map to who would be shouting it. So the lower notes are like basses, higher are tenors. As you can hear, these are kind of like almost ripping the higher notes on the tenors. So something worth paying attention to. And obviously if you play quiet, so you can do a lot of really cool stuff with this. I use this a lot. It's on Fable, Andromeda. Really fun to do like the quiet whispers and then the shouts going in. So super cool. Sounds amazing, super realistic. Got a massive amount of clipping there, but again, this demonstrates the dynamic range of this. So really cool, and that space sounds pretty much perfect for these kind of things. Then you have clusters, which are, you only have a few notes here. Okay, so yeah, pretty crazy. They are very different, so the dynamic is kind of hard to figure out. Let's put it somewhere here. They do have dynamic range, apparently, so. That goes very loud. So yeah, cool stuff for effects, sound design, whatever you want. Not many options, but it's like a added bonus in my books. You got this Legato folder over here, and this is something I actually didn't really even use in the beginning because I was so blown away by the Syllabuilder. These sound varyingly realistic, obviously it depends on the part and so forth, but let's just go through them. Obviously that's the full dynamic, which isn't really, I'd say, the strongest part for using this. So let us drop the dynamic here. I'm going to adjust the limiter and then play something. So pretty good. You can also play this while it is a legato. You can play harmonies with it. So it's kind of like reading the parts in, or distributing the parts in real time. So let us play something together. So again, it is very quiet. I have this limiter cranked up crazy high and still very quiet. And a medium dynamic would probably be around here. So that is pretty realistic. Once you start adding, you know, parts to it, then it begins to glue a lot better. And also important to remember with vocal part writing is that you really want to be writing the dynamics as much as possible, because real singers don't stay ever in that one tone for very long. At least do a bit of variance in there. So again, apart from my shitty playing, the concept stands. But again, many of the transitions aren't super smooth and realistic. So here's something called MOA. So again, this sounds better to me. Again, doing actual part writing as if for a choir helps with the realism, but it is definitely more clunkier in its transitions than the Syllabuilder stuff. What else? Also some unevenness in levels here and there. It's pretty rare. Again, nothing like I've heard no kind of mistakes or errors like that in the Syllabuilder stuff side. So I wonder why it's here. This one is called kind of a legato. That works a lot better on that ooze. That sounds pretty good. Let's do a super quiet one because that texture sounds good. That sounds really good. Yeah, some of these work a lot better than others. But yeah. Then we have tenor legato. So previous ones were basses. I don't know if I actually said that, but that's really nice. Flows a lot better than the ahs in the basses, I think. Let's do a super quiet one. Yeah, again, really nice, really nice. Really gotta play with this limiter here. Yeah, really nice. I think these legatos respond better with the tenors. Probably a sampling, programming issue, but yeah, sound really good. I think did we do ooze really quiet? I don't think so. Beautiful, beautiful texture. Let's do quiet. Really stunning. Stunning stuff. Let's do these louder. Obviously difficult to do a huge difference on a vowel like that, or it's not a vowel, it's, well, whatever it is, with your mouth closed. Yeah, so these are the last ones. Really nice. cool. Yeah, so that about wraps up everything for Wotan, I believe. Yeah, then you have some light patches. Not going to go into those. Who wants to hear that? Probably some of you, but this is already taking far longer than I expected, and it's because I just love playing this. But yeah, I mean, stunning stuff. You can do so much realism, emotion, beauty with that. It's the best I've heard. Then we got Freyja, which is the women part of this this female choir equivalent to Wotan. And the way this is set up apparently is a bit different. You go to instruments and then you have kind of everything laid out here in one go. Altos are legato, then you got different type of legato. Then you have just, you know, sopranos, obviously on their own, whispers, and then women. So we're going to do this a bit the other way around because I don't know how long I'll be able to stay conscious. So this is what it looks like, the interface. Let me just check that everything looks good in the recording software, and it does. So, sustains, again, this is altos and sopranos combined into one patch. This is what I use for the most part, so let's go with that. Let's do the very quiet dynamic first. Let me twiddle with the limiter. Yeah, limiter is getting there. This is just so breathtaking to me. Like every time I open this up, I'm just blown away. Because the sensitivity, the details to the texture, the emotion, it's just like oozing and dripping of this this beauty. And again, I feel like I'm conducting a choir. I don't feel like I'm playing a sample library. So that helps me actually write music. Just incredible. Like I could do this all day. I could just play this, keep playing this. The delicacy, the textures, the nuances. Sometimes the voices feel like they're kind of not breaking up, but it's like this beautiful sense of vulnerability there, which just it is stunning. Stunning sampling, stunning, you know, obviously directing the choir. Yeah, that's crazy. Let's do staccatos in a quiet way here in between. Just that high end, this area just gets so beautiful because it is sort of raw, powerful, delicate, open, and it fluctuates, so you don't get the sterile response. Just incredible. Like, I can't believe this is real. well, it's not real, but the sample library is real. Really, really good stuff. I do have still some chest pain here for whatever fucking reason, apparently. So if I'm weird, that's why. What else do I want to actually show here? Oh yeah. Let's do sustains with actually a loud dynamic. Limiter clipping, really tricky to balance this. Can't believe how like just raw, powerful open this high end is, and it sounds, they're like these impurities, so-called, which just realism and humanity to me. And they're still, you know, in pitch and really powerful. I just don't know how they did this. So yeah, that's the loudest dynamic. Let's do something in between. We might get a bit of clipping at the end here, but just to demonstrate you the scope. Yeah, really great, really smooth, sounds balanced, reasonable, musical, usable. I think we did the staccatos with a low dynamic. So again, if this is the stupid way of doing it, please let me know, but I can't find a way to insert every note as staccato if I want to do so. Yeah, really good. Let's bump that volume up a bit. Really great. I mean, the response to these faster sections seems a bit better to me than in Wotan. I don't know if it's because of the inherent nature of higher versus lower notes, but just really, really good, really playable. Again, same thing here. We got, let's demonstrate without reverb. So super clean, super crisp, super controlled. This is beautiful. You can take this into any direction from that. This is with the reverb they've done. So again, cinematic, big, without reverb. So yeah, beautiful choices here. Yeah, I think that's about it. Same thing, same layout as Wotan, same control. It seems overall a tad bit more refined as Wotan. Obviously Freyja came afterwards, so it would just make sense that they learned things along the way. I do think they've been really good at updating these. I don't know what it said actually. Somewhere it said when it was last updated. So yeah, last updated on February 20th, 2018. Okay, well, that begins, you know, it's almost 5 years, if I can count, which is questionable. But obviously, like, I think they did updates pretty fast after releasing these. And as you can see, Syllabuilder version 3.5. So they really attacked a lot of the lacking parts. And I don't remember what I was left wanting when they upgraded or updated this, but I remember the update being super solid the last time it came. And again, if it's in a great place, you don't really need to update it. But you know, they were super responsive to the feedback, that much I remember. And then I do remember being super happy with the update, and I'm glad I don't remember what was before it. All right, let's do Whispers real quick here. Let's do some kind of a combination of syllables here. So again, really cool textures. Extremely useful. Next up, actually wonder, I do think they have shouts. I just don't know if I played loud enough. Maybe they don't. I think they do. I think I've used... Maybe I'm just remembering wrong. Maybe they just don't have shouts in this. Which, like, you know, obviously, generally speaking, is more of a... something reserved for men, but I do recall some, because like female shouts are really fucking cool, and I remember using them, maybe, or maybe not. I can't seem to find them here now, but again, let's do the sopranos alone just to give you a quick idea of the difference here with the possible overlap. Yeah, the top end really pushes hard, so... That's almost impossible to avoid the clipping. They're so resonant, those frequencies, that they really push hard. So yeah, that's the Sopranos. Again, gives you a slightly different texture combined to the overlapping combined patch. So more control, different texture. And again, the strength of this library to me is just the richness of the texture. So I don't blame you for wanting more tweakability. Oh yeah, these are the altos. Because again, there is an overlap in the ranges, so you know, you might want to treat them or play them individually. Yeah, different sound, more control. So amazing that they do actually offer that, as they should, I think. Let's do a few legatos here. Okay, let's do altos, legato. Bump up this limiter here a bit. Can hear, especially in the high end, a bit of those transitional kind of bumps, but the lower range is a lot better there. Let's do a quiet version of that. Again, the quieter dynamics tend to behave a bit better. Slow legato, so interested in hearing what this sounds like. Let's do the quiet first. That is beautiful. It does respond very slowly, which I think is the idea, and it's probably because it's using samples that actually sample the transition, but it needs some time to figure it out, or to play the more realistic transition. So this is great. You can play in time and then just shift the whole thing to the right, into the right bars. So that's actually cool. Let's try the full-on dynamic. That is very beautiful. Obviously, it would be better if I actually played with the dynamics as we went along. That is really beautiful. I wish they figured out a way to do that with less lag, but I think they put it here for sort of more hyper realism versus, you know, by sacrificing the playability. I know other companies figure out how to do it, so not quite sure why they haven't. Especially when so much of the other stuff in the Syllabuilder sounds so good in real time. This is kind of a Ma legato. Yeah, pretty cool. Again, not as realistic, but yeah, it's cool. Slow legato. Okay, so this one has the version as well. So it's probably something they added to this after realizing what it was like with Wotan. Again, I don't know if it's something they intend to add or couldn't add for whatever reason, but yeah, let's check it out. Yeah, super realistic. Really, really nice. Yeah, man, I wish they could improve the lag a bit. Maybe get the help of someone to figure that out, because so many companies figure out the legatos. So I don't know, but it sounds good. I will use that and just shift the MIDI around a bit. Okay, sopranos. Let's do the slow legatos. We can, you know, assume the not slows are kind of simplified versions of that. That is really beautiful. Let's do a higher dynamic on that. Bit of limiter clipping. That is stunningly beautiful. The only drawback is the slowness, but you can work around it in the name of making music sound better. Making music sound great again. This one is a slow legato. Yeah, that's pretty badass. That's that is stunning. Yeah, really good. Here's the not slow version. Still sounds really good, but it just doesn't have that realism, that magic, that smoothness. Would depend on the part you're writing, or the mix, the arrangement. Sometimes you couldn't necessarily hear the difference. You might feel the difference. Obviously, it's more realistic, the slow legato, but yeah, it's pretty incredible. Just as a reference, let's do the legato without slow, with no limiter clipping, please. Still sounds really good. The difference is that added magic. Let's adjust the limiter. It just sounds like this sounds like a recording. Like this is an actual performance. Sounds just more real. There's no other way of putting it. Yeah, pretty crazy. I mean, you know, coming back to these after a long break, it's really cool how you come back to something you've used before so much and praised, and you come back to it and you're just like, this is even better than what I remembered, and this is still like top notch. Nothing better I've ever, like, I haven't heard anything better than this in the world of, you know, choir sample libraries. So hats off to Strezov Sampling. Amazing company. Like I said, I love Wotan, love Freyja, and I also love some of the percussive stuff I got from them. It's just these libraries are dripping with realism, musicality, and most importantly, heart and soul. They sound, you know, the realism part of it is not only in how real it sounds, but how real it feels. It's like actual people are there. Actual performances, actual heart, actual soul is captured in the sampling. And obviously I tend to prefer companies who have that approach. I think that really wraps up everything here. This was kind of a heavy stream, a pretty long one, but I'm happy we covered both libraries in this kind of one fell swoop. So yeah, still using these. I expect to be using these for a long time to come. Like I said, I haven't seen anything that touches these. So yeah, and I bought these myself way back when. So not a sponsored video. Although I would absolutely love to do more Strezov stuff in the future. Especially interested in the string sample library, the Aflatus, and then some of the other choir stuff. Obviously, if these are this good, Storm Choir. There's a Bulgarian ethnic choir or something like that. Really sounding really cool. But yeah, hopefully this was useful to you. If you're interested, and maybe this helps you understand what they're like, what they sound like, how they behave, and so forth. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and ask any kind of questions. But yeah, I hope these help you make educated decisions about where you place your money. But like I said, a broken record, I absolutely love these libraries. Just hands down my favorite choir sample libraries. But yeah, go give Strezov a peek, see what they do. There's a lot of good stuff there. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care. Finished.